Hello everyone. Today I'll be continuing fungal diseases part 2. Here we'll be taking up systemic mycosis. The first example of systemic mycosis is histoplasmosis. Histoplasmosis is the most common systemic fungal infection. It is caused by Histoplasma capsulatum. The fungi is dimorphic, grow as a yeast at the body temperature in the human host and as a mold in its natural environment. Humid areas with soil enriched by bird or bats excrement are especially suited for the growth of this fungi. There are many types of histoplasmosis: primary, progressive, primary cutaneous, and a frequent histoplasmosis. Histoplasma capsulatum grows in soil and material contaminated with a bird or bat droppings. It is not contagious but is contracted by inhalation of spores from distributed soil. As you can see here in the picture, the soil containing bird droppings is whipped with the wind and the human organism inhale it. One that it will inhale, it will go to lungs and it will cause phagocytes to enlarge in size and increase in their number. And in the tissue phase of infection, the yeast phase developed, which is phagocytes, and multiple budding intracellular fungi develops, which affects the following organs. These are inhaled and reach the alveoli and macrophages through microgonadia. They survive inside the phagosomes and they are transformed into yeast-like organism. The clinical features are the individuals which inhale these spores have no symptoms or mild symptoms. With a high concentration of spores, as many as 50% to 100% may experience fever, headache, myalgia, cough, anorexia. Oral cavity, the sites involved are tongue, palate, and buccal mucosa. The condition usually appear as a solitary, variable, painful ulceration for several weeks duration. Now, the how the diagnosis is established in laboratory, we can take various samples as sputum, bone marrow aspirates, peripheral blood, scrapings from dermal or mucosal ulcers, and biopsies from the lymph nodes. The direct examination can be done with a GIMSA or the right staining. On microscopy, histoplasma capsulatum appear as a small oval yeast cell packed with the cytoplasm. Various treatments are being administered as I've given the following charts, but amphotericin B is treatment of choice. Blastomycosis. Blastomycosis is caused by blastomyces dermatitis. It's a chronic infection of the lungs which may spread to other tissue. It is sporadic in spread. The male to female ratio is 9:1. The source of infection is inhalation of the fungus growing as a saprophyte. As you can see in the upper lip, the lesion is appearing. It is asymptomatic, mild primary pulmonary disease is there, and in the end it will lead to disseminated lesions with cutaneous manifestations. The oral lesions may be primary or secondary to some other lesions in the body. Tiny ulcer may be clinical feature. The various specimens can be taken as sputum, pus, and scraping, and KOH specimens are the laboratory wise very well done, and the treatment is amphotericin B. Paracoccydomycosis, it's a chronic granulomatous disease involving the lungs, mucosa, skin, and lymphatic systems. The source of infection is inhalation of spores from the environment. The primary pulmonary infection that spread by hematogenous route to mucous membrane of mouth, nose, lymph nodes, and adjacent skin. Ulcerative granuloma of buccal and nasal mucosa are the prominent features. The oral manifestation, it may enter through periodontal tissues, produce a severe regional lymphadenopathy. It will produce papillary lesions in the oral cavity, and extensive oral ulceration is a most common feature. As a dimorphic fungi, it grows as a yeast cells with multiple buds in tissue and in cultures at 37 degrees centigrade in the mycelial phase. The lab diagnosis is established by pus, sputum, and biopsy. Direct microscopy can also be done. And treatment again here is the amphotericin B capsules. Coccidioidomycosis. The causative organism is Coccidioides. By inhalation of the dust, cause arthrospores of the fungus in the body. Clinical features: it is asymptomatic in the initial phase, sometimes lead to mild influenza like fever to severe pneumonia in some cases. Oral manifestation: it is a granulomatous inflammation, cause ulcers on the oral mucosa. Lesion tend to heal by scar formation. Most occur as lytic lesions of the jaw. Morphology: being dimorphic, it occurs in the tissue as a yeast and mycelia form. Mycelia phase contains pseudohypae which fragment into arthrospores. The lab diagnosis includes sputum, pus, and biopsy. Direct microscopy can also be done. The culture can also be done for this. Treatment is again the amphotericin B. Cryptococcysis, it causes by Cryptococcus neoformans. Now, how the organism come? The organism come from the soil as a saprophyte and is particularly abundant in the feces of pigeon. So, the spherical budding cells have a prominent polysaccharide capsule, which is the causative agent. And inhalation of dust containing these cells are the source of infection in humans. It is pathogenic in human and animal, seen in immunocompromised hosts many a times. It invades the skin, lymph node, bones, and other organs too. Laboratory examination can be done from CSF samples, sputum, pus, or the brain tissue. The direct microscopy can also be done with an Indian ink or nigroskin stains. Now, coming on to the last part, that is opportunist mycosis. We have always heard of candida infection as an opportunist fungal infection. So, here it is. The oral candidiasis is the most prevalent opportunist infection affecting the oral mucosa. It is caused commonly by Candida albicans. How we classify? It is classified as acute and chronic. Acute is of short duration, chronic is more than 15 days to months duration. Acute is further of two types, pseudomembranous and erythematous. Chronic is of many types, pseudomembranous, erythematous, plaque-like, and nodular. Candida associated lesions are also present in denture wearers as denture stomatitis, angular cheilitis, and median rhomboid glossitis. The local predisposing factors are night wearing of the denture, smoking while wearing the denture, atopy, inhalation of the steroids, topical steroids, hyperkeratosis, imbalance of the oral microflora, and quality and quantity of saliva. The quality of saliva is deteriorated. The pH of the critical saliva is more than 5.5, and the saliva is ropey in consistency in the quantity. The general predisposing factors include immunosuppressive diseases, impaired health status, chemotherapy, endocrine disorders, and hematomegatin deficiencies. The clinical features of pseudomembranous, it is, as you all know, curdy white patches. The infection present with loosely attached membranes comprising of the fungal organisms and cellular debris, and it is the only lesion which is scrapable in candidiasis, that is pseudomembranous candidiasis, as you can see here. Now, coming on to antibiotic sore mouth. The name is erythematous candidiasis. Chronic antibiotics intake by the patient without any medical intervention leads to antibiotic sore mouth. Erythematous candidiasis surface may not just reflect the atrophy, the red lesion. Mind you, it is non-scrapable lesion and it increased by vascularization. Lesion has a diffuse border, infections is encountered on the palate or some of the tongue. Other factors which predispose is broad spectrum antibiotic intake for a longer duration and the smoking. Chronic plaque type, it mimics the leukoplakia. It replaces the older term of candida leukoplakia, characterized by white blast, which is indistinguishable from an oral leukoplakia, because here also the patch is non-scrapable. Denture stomatitis. Most prevalent site of denture stomatitis is the denture bearing palatal mucosa, as I have shown in the PEC. It is of three types according to Burkitt's. Type 1, it is localized to minor erythematous site. Type 2, it affects a major part of the denture covering mucosa. Type 3, the granular mass appears in the center. Basically, there is a fungal infection which is invaded by the bacterial infection and denture stomatitis. Angular cheilitis or the charred lips, it's infected fissures of the commissures of the mouth surrounded by erythema. How it occurs? Because of chronic vitamin B12 deficiency, iron deficiency, loss of vertical dimensions in the patients. Median rhomboid glossitis, initially it is a developmental disorder, but now it is being categorized as a fungal infection. The erythematous lesion is in the center of the posterior part of the dorsum of the tongue. It leads to atrophy of the filiform papillae and the surface is lobulated. Etiology is not fully clarified, but the lesion has a mixed bacterial fungal microflora. The management includes for candidiasis is amphotericin B. You can take the lozenges of 10 milligram. Slowly dissolve in mouth for 3 to 4 times a day for 2 weeks. Other drugs can be as a cream, also topical application, nystatin and co. Trimoxazole. Mecazone can a gel appear as a candid B ointment. Ketoconazole tablets can be taken if the lesion is not only to the oral cavity, it is being systemic now. Fluconazole can also be taken with itaconazole. Thank you.